Good morning, everybody. We're going to think about just XRP this morning. There's so much other stuff going on in the world. In crypto, so many other things, but we're just going to look at XRP. So obviously, we'll just reflect on the log scale, on the higher term timeframes, the 10-year chart, consolidate, massive big breakout, end of the apex, consolidate, massive big breakout at the end of the apex. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it? I'll tell you what, not many people did think it. I was called all kinds of things. I was called a shill. Apparently I was on XRP's payroll, shilling XRP. So, I mean, if that is the case, I've certainly done a good job. They don't need to shill me. I've benefited from this price action significantly now. So the question is, at what point do we pull back? So we had overheated reads on the money flow index on the daily over here. That's fine. We've got bearish divergence on the way up. We've also got it on the RSI to an extent, although it doesn't seem to have registered properly. Let's have a look at the 4-hourly. Well, we had some bearish divergence on the money flow index. Again, you know, this is a powerful move and a move that's driven mostly by, at this stage, FOMO, the fear of missing out. No one wants to miss out on XRP. You didn't want it at 50 cents. You didn't want it at 40 cents. You didn't want it at any price, in fact, but you do want it above $2. That's crazy. That's absolutely mad that is the way that it works. But you and I know, because I'm assuming most of you, well, I know that most of you watch me as subscribers. So you've been with me through all this price action here, waiting for this massive move up at some point this year into next year. And I think there's so much more to be had based on that overall measured move. We're still looking at, and it's becoming way more believable at this point, isn't it? If I was to say XRP to $5, XRP to $14, XRP to $27. You know, these were the sort of targets that we've thrown around based on various different analyses. And now we can see that actually, yeah, I suppose that is possible, isn't it? It's more than possible. It would appear that it's actually quite likely to at least get to $5. We could even do that by the end of the day. I'm not saying that it's going to do that, but you know what I'm saying now, right? You can see it. And now that people can see it, they believe it. They wouldn't have believed it back here, despite the all the TA and the continuous peddling of that massive setup that's only ever happened once in its entire 10-year lifespan, and the reaction of it when it breaks out of that giant apex. So so what we're looking at now is probably a pullback again. You know, we always have to assume significant pullbacks, and the pullback that we'll be looking from here doesn't even register particularly on this chart here, because this is only the Binance chart. We'll have to go back to the Bitstamp chart, I believe, to really get the area. So we seem to have wicked into this area. It's a round number. It's $2.50. Everybody loves that. And that's when you know that it's being driven by emotions, because you're getting nice round numbers. $2.50. I'm going to sell at $2.50 exactly. That's what this wick over here did on this monthly back in 2017. I remember that because, again, this is not my first big rodeo with XRP. I bought XRP when it was, you know, in this consolidation around here somewhere, dancing around 3 cents, and I had to actually sail that down by over 50% at one point to then wait for the 100x that I received later. So this is not the first time. This is why I'm relatively confident of what I'm saying here. So what we're seeing at this point now is this big break into this resistance, and because it's a 250 level of resistance. Again, it's a noob master area, but there's nothing wrong with selling it. And if we're going to judge this on the monthly, there is a major support on these candle bodies around here, which is around $1.58, $1.59 area. But look, I am always trying to explain, and I have done since the beginning of November, probably even into last month, really, when we were just finally just picking up and accumulating, you know, all these altcoins that we wanted. Because I said, look, this is going to be the easy part of the market, and we can really start to see that. I mean, start is not, you know, we can actually see it. It is the easy part of the market. Over trading this month, this November, would have been a terrible thing to do. You shouldn't have and wouldn't have wanted to overtrade it or trade it at all. We enter in and we sail up. Now, I still think that we're going to be continuing with these types of moves throughout the most part of December and maybe into next year. We'll judge it bit by bit, day by day. Things are very hot. We can't deny that. But you see what I'm talking about now. The easy part of the market is to accumulate into accumulation and then just allow for it to ride. And overtrading would have only have sort of limited your capacity to reach sort of full potential of these prices. This is still the case. This is still the case. The easy part of the market is to sit back and allow for your accumulated altcoins to rally up 1, 2, 3, 400% or more. I mean, one of the shockers that I've seen here is Algorand. Now, we all like a bit of XRP, obviously, but Algorand, has cheekily just done a 370% out of the blue, and it's broken through all major moving averages of all time frames at this point now. Actually, no, not this 200 weekly. Okay, fair enough. I was wrong, but it's still an epic chart and a chart that still wants continuation. These are the building blocks now of what is going to be the serious gains. Now remember, obviously, I was saying don't overtrade, and I am a trader. I trade, I trade for a living. I have to trade, really. I have to take profit weekly, monthly to pay the bills. But I've been very vocal about my main strategy is to buy the altcoins throughout the end of the summer consolidation, getting ready for this move and then the moves that follow, because those are the ones that are going to give me the best returns. I learnt this, obviously, I say the hard way. There's nothing wrong with making hundreds of percent, but last cycle, I suppose I did overtrade it, really. There was really no need for me to have done that, but I remember buying Phantom at like half a cent. I bought Matic at like 1.2 and 2 cents. I even bought ADA at 2 cents, and I sold a lot of these things after doing 2, 3, 400% rallies, which again, from a trader's perspective, is epic. I didn't sell them all. I mean, I sold all of my Phantom, I sold all of my ADA, but I was a strong believer in Matic. But when I look back and go, well, yeah, 400% is good, 200% is good, even 50% is good. You're not going to complain with that. And you should never complain about the profit that you make, but. I look back and go, well, actually, all that Matic that I bought, that I held and got over 100x, actually that was the best trade of the entire cycle. And it required a bit of patience, but it yielded an enormous amount. And I'd say the same thing from the previous market, really, when I bought XRP at 3 cents and sold it around 280. So I want to yet again explain that is my main strategy now. Now, it's not a long-term hold. These things aren't long-term. They're probably all going to be sold between next September towards next December. We'll see how the market looks and how it behaves. But, I was 70% in by October. That's 70% committed to the market. That's an enormous amount of conviction. For me, I know that a lot of people are 100% in or whatever, but, when you're like a trader like me, being 70% in, it requires a lot of conviction in your analysis, and I'm glad to see that it's worked out so far. But we will at some point reach a peak, and probably consolidate. And if we just glance back to this overall fractal analysis that I always refer to, this is the bull market projection. And I say, look, once this apex breaks, we'll go up, and we should continue to go up and continue to go up. And I'm not saying that these are the price targets we're going to hit. That's not what I'm saying. But this is the general direction and time frame that I'm expecting to see. So with every move up, you get a little pullback, and if this fractal gives us a rough guide, we should probably be looking for a pullback of significance over the next couple of months, like a decent one. Like a very big one, to be honest with you, for altcoins, for a very big one. It might shave 40 or 50 or 60% off the current price of altcoins, but it shouldn't really scare me out of my positions, because what's 40 or 50% down after what we've already seen of like 3 or 4 or 500% up? It's nothing really in the picture. That's perfectly normal, perfectly acceptable. It would appear to me now that there's nothing completely in the bag forever, but it would appear on face value, based on everything that we've seen and witnessed over November, that we have caught the absolute lows, and that these lows probably won't be seen again for a lot of these altcoins, maybe ever. So why would you want to get shaken out of those positions unless you need to take profit, which is completely different? And sometimes I need to take profit. Got to bring some money in, haven't I? These light bulbs don't come on their own. I've got to pay for them somehow. So yeah. But unless you need to, I would say that the full cycle or the full expectation is going to be good. Now, Bitcoin. We'll just quickly look at that, just very briefly. Bitcoin is pulling back a little bit now. However, I think this pullback may be over already as far as today is concerned. I think, but and that remains to be seen. Bitcoin, every time it pulls back in this kind of environment, gives altcoins the opportunity to pull back and then bounce. Yes, we've still got a little further to go on Bitcoin. We might be hitting 94,003, and we may even go down towards 92,150. But if we don't, and we just get pulled back up, that's a different story. So every Bitcoin pullback is an opportunity to buy a dip. Ethereum's getting picked up on a 7 simple moving average at the moment, and Ethereum is probably the better chart to look at the moment for altcoins' health, because it still holds so much weight on the total 2 and on the Bitcoin dominance. It's by far the largest market cap altcoin out there, so whatever Ethereum does will probably affect altcoins more. So a little pullback here, maybe a bounce right now, and then another move up. We've got a lot of bearish divergence over here, so if we do continue and make another higher high with a lower read on the RSI, then it might be time for a bigger pullback at that stage. And again, the biggest pullbacks we would be looking for on all the altcoins is going to be reunited with the golden crosses. There's a golden cross formed over here, so the 200 exponential on Ethereum is now 2,888. Incoming golden cross on simple moving average is probably going to happen this week, and that would come in at just below 3,000. So those would be the main areas to think about for Ethereum. And I'm not saying buy Ethereum or anything like that. I'm just saying Ethereum is also an indicator of its own doing, because it holds so much weight on the market cap. If you see Ethereum bounce around these areas, it would be reasonable to assume that the total 2 will bounce around those areas, and if the total 2 bounces around those areas, the total 3 and others are probably just going to bounce as well, which basically means all altcoins will probably be bouncing alongside Ethereum. So Ethereum and Bitcoin are your main indicators for whatever altcoin it is that you're buying. This is a question I get all the time now, all the time. I get DMs every day. Where is the support for, I don't know, any altcoin, VeChain, EOS, Litecoin? Where is the support for them? Well, have they gone parabolic? Have they gone completely crazy? Have they had an enormous month? Have they doubled or tripled in price over the last month? Yes, they have. Well, in that case, then the supports, as much as we can establish some, may not require too much attention to detail, because the main driver at this point now is going to be the market caps, being Ethereum and Bitcoin. So total and total 2, and so we can look at those 2 charts to recognize whether or not that they are still in uptrends, or if they're getting supports, or if they're looking for further dips down. That will probably be the best way to think about whatever altcoin it is that you're buying, rather than the altcoin I want has already gone up 5,000%, and I'm looking for a support on it. Where is it exactly? That's a word I hear all the time. Exactly, where is it that we will see a support on that coin? I need you to tell me now, free of charge, and I'm going to put my life savings on it, and if it all goes wrong, you will be to blame for trying to assist me in my own ability to trade or inability to trade, and if you don't get it exactly right, you will be wrong and I will have you to blame. I'm like, alright, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I think I'm just going to not answer that question, to be honest, if that's okay with you. I think I don't think that's anything I want to get involved in right now. Do you know what I mean? I need to know exactly the support, and you must tell me, because you're the man on the internet. Alright, okay, no thanks. Right, so the best way, like I say, is to think about Ethereum and Bitcoin as your main drivers of whatever pullback is going to happen, and then any support that we see, significant support on either of those 2, might be an indicator in itself to think about your altcoin of choice. Obviously, that doesn't mean ignore the chart completely. If it's completely blown up and exploded and it's gone 10,000%, and you're still looking to buy it, then you probably have to get your head tested at that point, I would say. That's a mental health issue. That's not a trading issue. You can't buy anything that's gone up 10,000% in the hope that it's going to go up another 20%. You know. But anyway, you can't save some people from making those sort of judgments. Right, I'll leave it with you there. But thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Feel free to join the Patreon. It's a new month, so you get your money's worth if you join at the start of the month. Other than that, though, hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.